Hey, what is going on, guys? It is Young here, and today I'm back in another Fortnite video, and in today's video, I'm going to give you guys some of my best tips and tricks when it comes to winning here in Season 9. I'm going to share with you guys one of the biggest mistakes that I see players making in Fortnite, and exactly how to fix it and correct it, and just one of those things that you can fix very simply with just a few short techniques that I think you guys can benefit from a ton and overall just win a lot more games. And before we get into the video, I have a weekly V-Buck giveaway. I'm going to be giving away V-Bucks every single Friday, and if you guys want a chance to win some free V-Bucks, all you guys need to do is to drop a like on this video, make sure you guys subscribe to my channel, and as well subscribe to my second channel. I post a ton of really good content on there, so make sure you guys do subscribe, turn on my post notifications, and as well leave a comment down below of your Xbox gamer tag, your PSN gamer tag, or Epic account. And if you guys would like to support me as a creator in the item shop, all you have to do is go over to the item shop, go into the bottom right hand corner, support a creator, and type in my code. My code is Young Humor. Type it in and you guys will have me supported as a creator. And alright guys, let's get to the video. Alright, so there's been one thing in particular that I've seen a lot of players making when it comes to mistakes in this game. And there's one thing that I think a lot of you guys can correct pretty easily, which is a few simple techniques. But this is really just something that I've seen people make the mistake on time and time again. And this really goes from the people that I'm spectating to the people I'm going against in game, because these are one of the things that I capitalize on a ton, and I'm able to get a ton of shots on other players, really knock off their shield, knock off their HP, and even if I don't get the kill on that player, I pretty much ruin them in the entire gunfight, and the player they're going against is going to end up getting the kill on them. So no matter what, they end up getting screwed pretty bad. Either I get the kill or they lose the gunfight. Very rarely are they ever going to win the gunfight, especially after I get all those shots on them. But the one thing that I see a ton of players making when it comes to mistakes in gunfights is really not being aware of the possible angles other players can be. And a really good example of this is, I have a ton of examples in the gameplay that I'm going to show you guys, but really the best way that I can describe this and the best way that it plays out is you're in a gunfight, you're going against another player, and trust me, when it comes to Fortnite and Battle Royale games, or just games where there's going to be a lot of different players from all around you, and really just a random game, a ton of RNG. But honestly, in a game like this, you can just expect if there possibly can be a player from a different angle, or possibly a player from that direction, there's more than likely going to be. Because I've had so many times where I've gotten shot from different directions where I would just thought that there would be nobody there. I kind of just assumed no one's going to be behind me in that gunfight, kind of assume that no one's going to be to my left or to my right. And it ends up costing me, because I know it happens to you guys a ton. Maybe you're in a gunfight going against another player, you get a ton of shots on them, you're overall winning the gunfight against the other player, you haven't yet killed them, or maybe you're just running and you get sniped from a different direction, you end up losing 100 HP, 150 HP, depending on what type of sniper you got hit by. It's just one of the worst things that can happen. You're in the middle of the gunfight, absolutely destroying the other player, clapping him up, and then you get hit from a sniper from a different direction, or you get lasered, headshotted from an assault rifle, and there's really nothing you can do because you weren't expecting it. But there's a few things you can do that's going to really benefit you and help you out in the long run when it comes to going into these gunfights and really not getting shot from all these different directions, because that's really one of the biggest mistakes I see a lot of players make, and it really is preventable for the most part. Of course, it's going to happen from time to time and you're not going to be able to do anything about it, but the majority of times you are going to be able to do something about it and really prevent yourself from getting shot from every direction without you having an idea what's going on. So the first thing that you can do that's really beneficial is really just to focus on, or really think about every single time that you go into a gunfight, is really try to think one step ahead. Think about what possibly could happen if maybe another player was trying to run up, maybe if you were that player trying to go into the gunfight, what angle that you would come from, and just different things like that. I think trying to be one step ahead is going to give you a really good advantage, just because if you think there could possibly be someone to your left, and this could really be true, maybe you're in the early starts of the game and maybe you're running to the middle, you pick up a couple people off and you go to one direction and try to fight other teams. Well, just because you went to the middle, you know that the middle is clear, but you don't know about your left side and your right side. So if you go to the right side, there very well could be someone to your left. So every gunfight that you go into, you just want to be really aware if someone could be to your left or to your right, because if you haven't checked that location and you really don't know if someone's going to be there. Of course, there's going to be some exceptions where, I mean, maybe you have the storm coming in, you already know the place is clear, maybe you cleared out the entire place of Paradise Palms, where more than likely you can just bet on your chances that there's going to be no one else there. But maybe you're fighting in the mid-game around Dusty Divot or anything like that, you can just very well bet that eventually another team's going to be coming into that vicinity, into that area, and you just have to be prepared for it. So even though you're fighting off another player and you're really focused on going for that player, just really be prepared for other people coming from different directions. I think that's one of the best things you can do, mainly because if you want to prevent it, you at least have to know that's going to be coming, because you can't really prepare for something you have no idea that's coming. So if you want to be able to prevent and stop this from happening again, you really have to focus on every single gunfight you go into, really focus from the different angles and directions other players could possibly come from. It's one of the best things that you can do. And also the next thing that you can do that can be very beneficial and very helpful, and something you see me do all the time, and maybe you guys picked up on this, maybe you guys haven't when you're watching my gameplays, but I have a perfect example in a clip that I can show you that really demonstrates exactly what I do and why I do it. So here you can see me running over, and as I'm running over to try to pick off a guy that's going to be below me, as you can see, I go for a few shots, and the second I do, I build up, and as you can see, I built behind me, and I also built to the left of me. And the reason why I built in these two directions was because I was trying to prevent other people from my left or behind me to try to get shots on me, even if I didn't see them. Even if I didn't hear him, it's always good to prevent that from ever happening. And the reason why I didn't build to the right of me, and normally I would have, but the reason why I didn't, because earlier, probably like 30 seconds ago, I completely cleared out the area, I killed the players there, so I was just willing to bet that there was going to be no one else coming from that direction, when possibly they could have, but more than likely they weren't going to be coming from that direction, so I didn't even worry about building over there. But when it came to the left side and behind me, very well there could have been a guy with a sniper rifle just camping and waiting for me to peek, and it's just one of those things that you can just prevent yourself from taking damage very easily. It's just being proactive in the situation and trying to prevent it before you end up getting knocked and before getting shot and losing a bunch of HP. And a lot of times when you're in the gunfights and you're going against these players, a lot of times you're not going to be getting shot from these directions, a lot of the times. But there is a handful of times that you could be getting shot from the other direction. And that's just one of the many things that I do that really give me such an advantage against the other players that I'm going against. It's just one of those things you really don't notice and see very often. And that can give you such a major advantage, and just working on those small things like that can really help you guys out when it comes to winning games and being a lot more consistent. And really the main reason behind that is because there is of course a ton of other things that I do every single gunfight, but just one thing like that can be a major help and really help you guys win a lot more games. And I'm pretty sure, and it's one of those things that I've seen a lot of people mess up on time and time again, and they end up getting laser from that direction, and it's just something that's very easy to prevent if you're aware about it. So it's just one less mistake that you can make. So of course this one tip isn't going to help you guys win every single gunfight or prevent you from getting shot from different directions every single time, because if you're in arena mode you have those sweaty tryhards using double snipers, and that's just another case and something you have to prepare for. But the majority of times, just doing a small thing like that will prevent you from losing a ton of games. And it's also something else you can do, and I might have mentioned this in a video before, but if you're going for someone, a lot of times in gunfights, halfway through the gunfight, you get a few shots on the other player. What they end up doing is they end up boxing in, and what you can do about that is what I usually do, I try to get inside of their box right away, or try to go for the wall replace. So one of the two, I end up trying to get the wall replace, or I try to get inside of their box. If that doesn't work after maybe a few attempts, or maybe like 2 attempts or a few seconds, what I'll end up doing if I still want to keep going and trying to get inside of their box, I'll build around me, I'll build all the way around me. And the reason being, it just prevents me from getting shot from other directions, and that's just something that I personally take so much advantage on, is when I see people in gunfights, I see a guy boxed in, and I see a guy outside of the box trying to get shots off, and a lot of the times they'll be trying to get in their box so hard that they'll end up almost standing still because they keep W keying against their box. It pretty much they're standing in a very still motion, so it's very easy to get shots on them, and I just hit them for 60-70 damage, and it pretty much goes from they have such an advantage in the gunfight to a pretty even fight, because they both, now the guy that he's fighting and also the other player that I shot at, have a fair fight because the HP is going to be about the same, and as well I'm going to be joining up in that fight. And then just an easy way to prevent it, like I said, is just building around you, because if the other player would have built around him, there'd have been no chance of me getting any shots on them. Of course, I could have just sprayed him or did whatever, and eventually, even if that did happen, the other player was going to get prepared for it. And if you really wanted to, one thing you could also do is just switch to the other side. So basically, you're in a box, you're focusing on a player, and maybe you're getting shot from behind. What you can do is go to the other side of the box of the player you're fighting, and basically challenge from that side. So you basically are going to be shooting at that player while the players behind you are also going to be shooting at their box as well. So you're going to be pinching the guy in the middle. And this really does make it easier because you don't want to try to fight 3 or 4 people at the exact same time. And there's a lot of different instances where you can actually just use the other player spraying at another player to your advantage. So maybe they're getting sprayed at, you come up from behind them and then start spraying at the exact same wall. A lot of the times they're going to have no idea what to do, and you can use the other player that's just spraying at their wall to your advantage and end up getting the kill on the first player that you were initially fighting. And then from there you can go and challenge the players who are trying to join up in the fight, and it'll be a much easier and even fight because it's going to be a 1v1 rather than the 2v1 and trying to fight off 2 players at once. Because no matter how good another player is or how good you are at the game, it's just going to be a lot easier if you don't have to fight multiple people every single gunfight. So getting other players to be the center of attention can give you such a huge advantage and prevent you from taking damage, while at the same time allowing you to get more kills on the other players you're going against. And with that being said, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, if you guys liked it, make sure you do drop a like. It really does help me out. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And alright guys, I'll see you next video.